Hey guys, it's Chris and I'm back here with my fourth lesson here for you on CAGED theory. With this lesson we're going to go over playing your open E chord, which sounds like this. And I want you to get used to the fact that this is called an open E chord. And I'm sure you've heard me hammer that into the ground already, but it's important, and the reason it is because there are more than just open chords. And as you've heard me already hammering into the ground, there are bar chords. Now there's a lot of other chords too that you can play, but I'm not going to go over that right now. We're just trying to focus on the simplistics of the CAGED theory here. So when we're playing this open E chord, it's important to know what we're actually playing. So individually we're playing 6 strings for this chord, and it's important to know that we're only pressing down on 3 out of the 6 strings. We're pressing down on our A on the 2nd fret, our D on the 2nd fret, and the G on the 1st fret. Your E, both high and low, and your B string are played open. And you can check for clarity on that again as we've been going over by strumming each string individually. Now once you get that nice clean ring out of that, I want you to go ahead and strum the whole chord. Move on to upstrokes in tandem. And then try a little pattern with it too, you know, if you get your foot going, counting like 1, 2, 3. And that's going to give you a good feel for how it is to strum that chord up and down and get a little pattern going with it. And gives you a good sense of what that E chord feels like, that open E chord sound. So as I've been going over as well with this, it's a very important point for you to understand that when you move this, which is the whole point of the CAGED theory, you actually have to move the open strings with you, which I did not just do, and you can hear that because it sounds terrible compared to this. Sounds like crap. The reason it sounds like crap is because I'm not actually doing anything about those open strings that I've been playing. So what do? You bar them. And I know I've been hammering that in the ground, but you know, it's important for you to know what's actually going on here. This E chord has to change when you move your fingers up the fret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these up. I'm going to move them up about 5 frets. And I'm going to bar that, those 3 open strings. It sounds much better when I do that. But the one thing you're probably noticing is this does not sound like this. There's a good reason for that. It's not the same chord. And you're probably going, why? Okay, why? Why? And the reason why is because we moved it up the neck, therefore we changed the notes. And when we change the notes, it's important to know that we changed the chord. So when you actually look at this guy right here, that open E chord that we're playing, I moved it up, I changed it to a G chord. And as I've shown you in other videos, I've been able to check that against the open chord that it resembles. So when I'm playing this bar G chord, I'll play it against an open E chord. And you'll see that it sounds very similar. It definitely sounds a little different because we're playing notes in a different position on the neck. But they're the same chord. I'm just playing them in a different shape. And again, that's another thing you've heard me hammer into the ground here is the shape. And that's because when we're playing this open E chord and we move it up and bar it, all we're doing is we're moving the shape. We're still using that open E chord shape, but then I bar the chord and it becomes no longer an open E, it becomes a G when I play it here. So what we're actually calling this now is not an open E chord. It's called a barred G chord in the E shape. And it's important to know that because what I've done is not moved my finger's shape at all. I've just slid them up the neck. And then once I've done that, I barred the 3 open strings that were down here. I barred them so that they would all be in tune because I'm playing a new chord now and I need to reflect that with my open strings. So my 2 E's, my high and low, and my B have to get pressed down on by my index finger here, barring to get that G sound. So it's important to know that you're doing a lot of different things here. You're playing an open chord, and when you move it, you're moving the shape up the neck. You're barring the open chords so that you're actually moving the shape up the neck, and what you're playing is no longer an E chord. And for the purpose of what I'm playing now, I'm playing a barred G chord, and I'm playing it in the E shape. And I know that's a lot of information to take in, but by now you should understand the concept if you've been watching the other videos, and if you're still having trouble grasping what you're actually playing, please, give me a message on Facebook, give me a message on YouTube, drop a comment on the video, however you can get a hold of me through the channels that I've left open for you. And let me know what isn't making sense. I'd be more than happy to make an video that I could append this with. I could make some examples for you, anything I can do to help you learn better from these videos and understand the concepts that we're teaching you. So again, just go over your open E chord, be able to play that out cleanly, check all 6 strings, and once you can play that, get a pattern with it, and once you've done that, get used to moving it up the neck. So move that shape, bar those open chords, and when you do that, check against your lowest bass note. And in the case of what I've been playing here, that lowest bass note's a G, which makes this a barred G chord. And you check that against my open G chord. And you can see that those 2 chords sound the same because they are. And it's very helpful to know that because if you're going to put a song together and you want to use open chords, bar chords, power chords, whatever kind of chords you're going to use, it's important to know where you can play those, because learning all of these changes is going to give you a wide dynamicy and possibility of what you can actually play and where you can actually play it, giving it totally different sounds than anything you're used to hearing. Most people will play and they'll play it all down there, and that's good. You can make a ton of songs out of that, but it's important to expand your knowledge too and know that you can play those chords in other areas of the neck and make a completely different sounding song. So I want you to go ahead and just practice that. That open chord sound, practice that bar chord. Practice moving it up the neck. And when you're moving it up the neck, check out what your lowest bass note is and confirm it against the open chord so that you know what you are actually playing and you get familiar with how that sounds. Additionally, an important thing that you can do for yourself too while you're at it is play those open chords, that open E, and get used to switching between another open chord. Pick any of the 4 that you've learned so far through these videos and get used to switching between your E open chord and another open chord, or all of the open chords you've learned. So far you should be able to switch between C, A, G, and E. And get used to switching between just 2 if you want. Pick your E open, and get used to how that switch feels. It's important to build up that dexterous momentum in your fingers. That way you can switch nice and easily. It's going to be important for those chord changes in the songs that you're starting to write. So if you have any other questions on this video, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Get a hold of me through the channels I provided for you. And if you like what you see, keep subscribing to the videos and like my Facebook page and get other people in on that so I can keep this thing going. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week for the next lesson. Bye.